Hey everybody, it's your pal Drew. Oh, puppies! Hey! You spook Daddy. It's Halloween. Don't spook Daddy. I'm not unsettled at all. It's only Halloween, and I'm holding giant-sized Dracula, which I just got in the mail from eBay, and man, it is a magnificent shape. Friggin' 50 years ago, this came out. Whoop! Some guy just took off with him. Well, this came in great shape, got real affordable on eBay, and David Anthony Kraft, he started off, I think, doing Foom for Marvel's in-house. Foom was Friends of Old Marvel, which was their in-house fanzine, and then he went on to do stuff like this, like fill in. And notice how on the staplers are on these double-size issues. These are actually just glued on covers. So that's what makes this kind of stuff really amazing to find in solid condition, because it's holding on a wing and a prayer, so to speak. July 1975 issue, which meant it probably came out in April, because they did that advance. That was cool. I had the Falcon. No, my friend Rick had the Falcon. I had the Lizard. He had the Hulk. I had Spidey and Cap. So like it says V Redondo, but it can't be Nestor Redondo, because his stuff is so magnificent. So it just wouldn't be squished up in all these captions. So I don't know if it was a sibling or somebody in the family. Now that is more Nestor Redondo sort of stuff as far as rendering. But it's all over the place. It's a real curiosity. If anybody knows who a V Redondo would be, that's kind of gutsy there for the Comics Code at the time in mid-70s. And Dracula doesn't look so much menacing as he looks like he's posing for a painting, because he can't see himself in a reflection in a mirror. Nom 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 nom. Yeah, it's interesting, but it's like yada 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 yada. I have a few of these I bought at a store. It was like a consignment store in Seattle or Portland, I can't remember which. And they had most of these, and the Spider-Man though was chewed up pretty good. They must have had a doggy that liked to chew them, which is why I keep my action figures, toys away from my dogs. I give them their own toys. I say, pretty neat. I mean, if you're going to do a book that's supposed to be scary, lots of shadow, and I don't mean shadow incidentally. There's so much ambient light that kind of takes the scariness out of it. There's like a lot you could do with that. I can go back here. Like even if you're in a doorway, and it could be right in the middle, it could be noon, and if you're around a doorway, you could get a shadow that'll, you could do double lighting with like Wally Wood and stuff like that. But now, here we go. The mystery artist. Who is this artist? I didn't want to tell you off the top of your... It's a brand new guy. It's somebody you get to know as a Marvel artist, but you would not recognize him because Rudy Nebres is inking and heavily redrawing a lot of it. And it's beautiful stuff. It's really interesting to see this particular artist see his storytelling chops devoid of the rendering style that he would put in his inks. That's okay, puppies. Daddy will protect you. Let's see. That's a beautiful stuff there. He finds people. Yeah. I mean, in all fairness, though, it's like Rudy Nebres did kind of went a little overboard, but back then that's what he was paid to do. If he was going to do something, and he did it with like a lot of new artists to kind of get them. That's a really great image there. Oh, woof woof, you woofy woofs. You trying to scare off all the monsters? This page may be a giveaway. Oh, hey, no bark, pals. Shh. Daddy's doing very busy important work. And then we go to a reprint of The Hidden Vampire. I don't know who the artist is, but he does shadows on the faces, kind of like Bernie Krigstein. But I don't know. I'm not that good on that stuff. Okay, and then I just got this in the mail. Giant-sized chillers. It's not as in greatest shape, but I paid less for it anyway. Bernie Wrightson cover. He didn't do a lot of Marvel books. He was mostly a DC guy. Beautiful. And here's what's absurd, though. Great Alfredo Alcala splash page. Really, really great. Really, really cool. But look at this. It's like the credits are so small. It's I don't know why. I guess they just had to get things done. Well, first two giant-sized chillers had like an opening feature, and then the rest was reprints. Well, by this time in August of 75, Marvel was becoming all reprint when it came to the giant-sized books. And I didn't mind myself because it was all new to me, but there's a Len Wein caricature, Tony Isabella caricature, drawn by Marie Severin, the queen of caricatures. So we go back to a Bernie Wrightson and Roy Thomas story, and I guess Roy just suggests the script to it, but really beautiful. I may have shown this to you before. That's so great. And he was so new to the to comics, and already he was so settled in. There we go. Gerard Conway, not Jerry Conway. Barry Smith before the Frenzal Smith, and this was in Chamber of Darkness. But as I had my one episode that has a lot of views, Marvel really didn't know how to do horror. They didn't know how to horror properly, as the kids would say, when you take a few words out and make it sound like a verb. So they didn't horror very well. This was sort of a Sword in a Star type fantasy thing that really wouldn't fit this kind of stuff. But it's, they had this new guy, Barry Smith, who had done, this is right before Conan, this is after he'd done, had he banged through that hard hat, like Kirby style that he was swiping, and then kind of evolving from X-Men to Daredevil and Avengers, and little by little, each job he got better and better. So this is sort of a bridge between, bridge between Barry Smith and Barry Windsor Smith of Conan the Barbarian #1. This is in Monsters on the Prowl number, it's printing, 9. Now, Alan Brodsky, I know him, I just know of him, he did a year on Iron Man. Now, Jay Hawk, and then Barry Smith inking Jay Hawk, I don't know who Jay Hawk is. What's really interesting is this top here. That looks like it's right out of Mad Magazine, the way they would just do all like a text and then a big lettering. That looks so much like a Mad Magazine or an EC collection, any story. So I don't know who that guy is, but if you do, please leave a comment below. See, I try not to not Wikipedia everything, because I don't want to sound like the biggest smartass. And second of all, I like communicating with viewers. I like, they have stuff they could teach me, and and I learn as much as you guys learn. This is Gene Colan, naturally, and this reprints the Jack Kirby story that was in Chamber of Darkness 4, one of the very last books Kirby did. He even got script and art credit, just as he did on Amazing Adventures with the 4 issues with the Mandarin versus the Inhumans, and then he did, I think, the first 2 issues of Kazar with Roy Thomas, I think, maybe. That's really cool. It'd been really neat if you stuck around more. We'll see what happened. But now we go into Tom Sutton. And, you know, they're always introducing themselves. There's a great Tom Sutton interview in Comics Journal that came out, I don't know, right before 2000. And then here we go. That's a Marie Severin thing there. The story was in Tower of Shadows 4. It was Marv's first published story for Macabre Marvel. Small world, huh? Len and Tony. So you got some more, you two lovable plush toys. If anybody knew what you look like, they would not be scared. You're like two soft little critters. I think I'll show you another thing or two just for the hell of it. I showed this a while back as its own episode. It's got a unmistakable Gene Colan, Tom Palmer inks. That's the part I'm not certain of. But his hair looks kind of like from Cain and Abel, from the guys who did the DC books. But wow, how about that? Alfredo Alcala is the artist, and you know he's the Filipino artist is just fantastic. This guy here, Win Mortimer, who is a huge, really well-regarded artist, not popular per se, but in the 40s and 50s and so on. And then he went on to do Spidey Super Stories, which was more a children's version of it. And so there you go. I'm dragging this out. What the hell? I want to make it a 20-minute episode if I can. This was pretty cool. The Three Faces of Fear. Oh, look at that. Look at the energy. Dan Adkins inking Gil Kane. He's not eating him. And there's that Hannigan at the art. Steve Gerber. Wow, look how crazy that is. What is that? That's just like whiteout stuff, I think. Oh, no. There's the schnoz. There's the eyes. Wow. Ooh. I don't have the Marvel Masterworks reprinting this stuff, but I gotta imagine that was a real bitch to recreate. And I've said this before. I'm not a big Man-Thing fan. But and it's like anytime he shows up in a story, like a Marvel Team Up, like 68, or in Marvel 2-in-1 and all that, I just kind of let out a groan because I just feel like he hadn't been. John Buscema and Frank Springer, look at that. Little John Buscema action. You don't see much of that on Man-Thing. Anyway, the other thing too is he'd show up and he would just be there, and it would be all this text about, like, you know, oh, he's observing and blah 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 blah, and you know this that, and the muck monster sloshes off in different and everything would happen around him, and I get it, but it made him a non-character. You know, it just he would react inconsistently to different stimuli of emotions. I mean, fear is what makes you burn at the Man-Thing's touch. I love that idea. But everything else, it's so arbitrary, and that's why I can't. Anytime he shows up in a story, I'm like, oh God, it's gonna be boring. And I know many people are probably clicking off this episode right now because that's just where my prejudices lie. You know, I'm not into Man-Thing. And this is Ed Hannigan, inked by Tom Sutton. That's really cool. A lot going on there. And I love the mushy art of inks of Tom Sutton. It really adds a lot. And we get Kang. Okay. That's really sweet there. That looks a lot like a Neil Adams swipe there. Hell cow, yeah, baby. The Howard the Duck issues used to go for a lot of money, but this didn't cost me much at all. And Frank Bruner and Steve Gerber. Go back to number 3. Gil Kane and Klaus Janson. Whew, that's just great. Now that is insane, but in the best possible way. It's just render. No, I never had that one. Check out that. Look how tiny those lines are. So I got that. And I showed this before. Giant Size Chillers, great cover. Inside art's by Ron Wilson and Jack Gable, and they're not necessarily masters of the macabre. I mean, I like them both. I just wouldn't have put them on this project. But hey, Sonny boy, please. A couple snaps of the finger, and he snaps too. Bruner's cover, that is just so magnificent. Wow, that is so magnificent. And unfortunately, the art on the inside is it's like a mess of Hannigan, Wilson, Springer, and it's just not that great. It's serviceable. It tells the story, but it's just not that. Well, Gerber loved his text pages. Him and Roy Thomas, except Roy Thomas wouldn't put his in the stories, but Gerber had no reservations about it. Yeah, see, it's just, there we go. Howard the Duck. Man, so great. Bruner's style of Howard the Duck, it makes it's much more animation looking, and then when Gene Colan came on, he made him a little more realistic. If it's possible that a standing upright duck who likes cigars could look real. I love those eyes there, a little Disney-ish, isn't it? The funny thing is, real quick, he walked around. He didn't have pants on. That's just the way he dressed. Let me get back to this. Yeah, he just had the jacket and the tie and the hat. And years later, Disney was ready to sue Marvel and say, give him some pants. So they gave him some pants, like right at the end of his 30-issue run series. And then, decades later, Disney buys Marvel. So it's just weird how this stuff goes around. So I'm not born here or nothing, because some of the stuff I may have covered before. Steve Ditko. Man, that's sweet. Look at those designs. So that's all. That's it. That's my not quite spooky, but hope you enjoyed seeing some of these spooky-esque type stories. And happy Halloween, and try not to eat too much of your kids' candy, okay? So I'm not giving my dogs any candy yet because it's not good for them. Take care, everybody. Bye.